these are the target cells, because what happens is our vagina is normally very dry, you know, but after we ovulate, then the secretions get a little bit thicker in our vagina, so sex doesn't hurt quite as bad because we have enough lubrication, because God takes care of that for us. He also gives us babies. He also gives us babies. So, because remember, from my very first cycle at 8 years old or 9 years old, I can get pregnant. All the way up through menopause, I can get pregnant every single month. My breasts swell, they go back down. My breasts swell, they go back down. That's why, because of the Cooper's ligaments that hold the structure of the breast, have been stretched out so much that by the time we get old, then that's why our breasts start sagging. Because they get big with each child, big with each child. And then it's that monthly stretching of the Cooper's ligaments that give us saggy breasts as we get older.
Is that what happened with muscular men as well? Because when they old, their breast is saggy too. With the, like
for men?
Yeah, for the muscular, like with the big breast, the muscle is big, and they do get saggy too. Is that the same thing?
That I wouldn't know.
No.
Men have breasts just like women do. They're just not non-functioning breasts. They have the exact same makeup of their breast. And if men have breasts, that's called gynecomastia. Gynecomastia.
Difference.
They can get breast cancer. They can everything that a woman can get in her breast, a man can get also.
Were you asking about like weightlifting?
Yeah, weightlifting.
That I wouldn't know.
The muscle is
That's all
saggy
muscle.
too.
So I guess if I have big muscles and all of a sudden I don't use them anymore, what's going to happen with the skin around it?
Right. Yeah,
It's going to get saggy.
Right.
Once you start lifting,
Yeah. Okay. So here is a sagittal anteverted uterus, transvaginal. I don't see a bladder because I would see a bladder here because it's anterior to the uterus. So this is an anteverted uterus during the proliferative phase, which is the first 14 days of the endometrium. Okay? So let's talk about the different phases of the endometrium. Okay? You have menstruation, then you have the proliferative phase up until ovulation. Ovulation is day 14. After that, because this is estrogen, then I ovulate. Then I'm in the secretory phase because now my body's producing progesterone. Okay? So, and then I have my premenstruation. Okay? So what happens during the ovary stage? Here's my ovary. I'm in the follicular phase until day 14. I ovulate. Now I'm in the luteal phase of my ovary. So don't let me get you confused on the test if I say which phase is my ovary in days 1 through 14, and I have all 4 of those phases listed, because the first 14 days ovarian is follicular, the first 14 days endometrial is proliferative. The last 14 days of ovarian are luteal. The last 14 days of endometrial are secretory. Okay?
Can you say it again?
Okay, so let's write it down. Some people do better with drawing, some people do by list. Me, I'm a goofball. I have to have both. Okay. Oh, that's horrible. I don't know why I keep grabbing that. Ovarian. 1 through 14 is follicular. Endometrium. EMS, endometrial stripe. Okay? Days 1 through 14 is what? Proliferative. Proliferative. Okay. So, what is the follicle putting out? Estrogen. Okay? Ovarian. 15 to 28. Endometrium. 15 to 28. Ovulation is on day 14. Day 14 is LH. Okay? Here. FSH from where? Anterior pituitary gland. Okay? Ovulation is on day 14. This now is called the luteal phase. And it is putting out progesterone. Progesterone is coming from the corpus luteum. Okay? The easiest way to remember this: when I'm in my cycle, I'm secreting blood. Secretory phase. I'm getting ready to secrete blood. Is the easiest way to remember. Okay? So, ovarian cycle, days 1 through 14, my body's putting out, my anterior pituitary gland is telling my ovaries to build ovaries, and it's doing that by FSH. The follicles put out estrogen. Okay? It's also helping that estrogen is also getting my endometrium ready. The first 14 days, my endometrium is growing. It's proliferating. It's getting ready to support the egg that has been fertilized. It's getting ready. Okay? It's proliferating. It's growing. Ovulation, day 14. My anterior pituitary gland says, okay, I've had enough. Let's put out inhibin from the ovary, and that's when my body produces LH and the egg pops out of the ovary. Okay? Now it's traveling through my fallopian tube. Okay? It's traveling through my fallopian tube. My body is getting ready for a fertilized egg by producing progesterone. This progesterone used to be my Graafian follicle. My Graafian follicle lets go of the egg, it closes back up. Now I have a corpus luteum. That corpus luteum is putting out progesterone because now I'm in the secretory phase. If I get pregnant, my endometrium is ready for a baby. If I don't get pregnant, then I bleed out. I slough it out. It just goes away. And I start all over again. Okay? That's all this is saying. I'm bleeding. Days 1 through 14, I'm in the proliferative phase. Days 14 through 28, I'm in the secretory phase. Okay? I get proliferative. No, never mind. That's I'm getting myself confused. Proliferative. Here's my ovarian cycle. I'm in FSH. Ovaries are developing follicles. The follicles are putting out estrogen. The estrogen is making my endometrium ready for implantation. Okay? I have inhibin that my ovaries put out, saying, okay, I've got enough estrogen. Let's get rid of this baby. Okay? It wants that ovary to let go of the egg. And so I have a spike of LH. It's that spike of LH that makes the eggs spit out of the ovary. Okay? Now, because this Graafian follicle has now turned into a Graafian follicle, it's putting out, over here it's estrogen. The last 14 days it's progesterone because it's trying to get the endometrium ready for implantation. Got it? Yes. I love questions.
So what was luteum comes from the ovary?
Yeah.
And it
That
grows in the endometrium?
No, no, they have nothing to do with one another. This is ovary. This is uterus. It's two separate organs.
So but what was luteum? Doesn't it get the egg once it is fertilized and the placenta?
No. Okay. So, good question. Okay, so here's my oocytes. My body now has FSH. That oocyte, about 5 of them, are going to start developing, but only one of them develops into a Graafian follicle. Okay. Once the Graafian follicle lets go of the egg, just think of it like this. It's a pimple, the blackhead came out, it closes up on itself. Because sometimes with that, you might have to pop it 2 or 3 times to get all the stuff out. Same thing with the ovary. The pimple popped, it closes back up, and now it's a Graafian follicle. This now is a Graafian follicle. Okay? It's still in my ovary. That's what Myra was talking about. It's still in my ovary, but now my ovary isn't producing estrogen anymore. It's producing progesterone now. It's that progesterone that's going to support my baby until the placenta takes over. The baby's going to be in my endometrium, not in my ovary. Okay? It's 2 separate organs, but they work together. Okay? Yes.
So because the progesterone make the endometrium
Thick?
thicker, that's what make the baby stay in the
In the endometrium? Correct.
Oh,
Correct.
okay.
Because we want it to be nice and fat and fluffy and full of blood. Because that's how my placenta is going to start growing. Okay? Because if my endometrium is not thick, it never gets thick, that's called luteinizing hormone deficiency. I can't get pregnant if I have a thin endometrium. It will never hold a baby. I'll get pregnant, but it won't have a chance to implant. It's just gonna go away. because it doesn't have enough blood in it to support it. Okay?
So the day of the ovulations or the day of the 14, we have thick endometrium and we have a lot of the ovule.
Yeah, the endometrium is getting
Thick.
thicker.
And the ovulations, we have a lot of the ovule, the 14.
On day 14, I have ovulation. Okay, go ahead.
So the
Treasure,
endometrium gets thick because of
The
progesterone
ovulation.
or
Treasure.
Yeah.
Eh,
That-